Let's look at Bootstrap grid system, which allows us to develop responsive web pages. Let's look at this slide. Imagine this is a web page, and you look at it like in rows and columns. If you look at the very bottom one, you see all the ones over here. It means this row got 12 individual columns. If you add all the ones together, it adds up to 12. If you look at the next row, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 sections over here, and each section has 2 columns. So also it adds up to 12 columns. And this one, you have 4 sections, and each section has 3 columns. So again, it adds up to 12 columns. So the same for this one, 3 sections. Each section has 4 columns, and 2 sections here, and each one has 6 columns. And for the very top one, because this is one single row over here, so it takes up all the 12 columns. So if you look at a web page like that and cut it up in rows and columns, so that's how you interpret Bootstrap's grid system. Let's look at a real page. You look at this page and you are very familiar with. So if you look at the top one, this is just the navigation bar. So, and then let me place a grid over it, and then you can see, say the top one single row with 12 columns. The banner also, you can look at it as a one single row, right? This is one row, this is another row. And you look at this one. Say this one is a little bit different from the previous 2 over here. So you see here, you have 2 sections, and each section has 6 columns. 6 columns on the left side, 6 columns on the right side. So you have, when you add 6 and 6 together, 12 also, you get 12, right? So the number is always 12 because this is how the Bootstrap defines the grid, all right? The same, the footer over here, one single row with 12 columns. So, and you look at it, this is a grid system. But the thing is how we're gonna use this to develop a responsive page. How about this? Let's look at this section, the middle section over here, because this is what we are interested in. When you resize the screen, and you will get a different layout. Let's look at the HTML code just for this section. Say you look at this one. So the way to create an HTML page to display this section is this. For Bootstrap, you use a lot of divs. So you start with the container. So this is the container all around this row. So under the container, you use the CSS class row. And then under this div, or within this div, and you have like columns. And you see column 6, actually, this corresponds to the number of columns here. Since we have 2 sections, so we have 2 divs over here, right? So 6, 6. So again, they add up to 12. Let me look at the code, and okay, I have a file. Let me pause this, and I will go and find the file, and I will come back. All right, I got the file here, and you can tell, so pretty much the same like what I have in the PowerPoint, and you have 2 sections, and you all start with a container. Container fluid and container, they are very similar. Container fluid, that means you don't have any margin on the left side, on both sides. So you can use container, or you can use container fluid. They do similar things. All right, under this, and you have row, you have to use CSS class row, and then within you have column 6. All right, so, and now you see you have 2, because we have 2 sections over here, 1, and then the other one over here. Let me display this page. Okay, right click and then view in browser. All right, it goes to another monitor. Let me put it down here. All right, now you can see. Yeah, okay, so, and you can reduce the width of your browser. I'm dragging it left and right to reduce and also to expand. But one thing you see over here, it's not really responsive, right? Responsive means if I shrink it down to a really small window, like a cell phone, and the two sections will go, one on top of the other, but it's not doing that. Yeah, so why? We need to do one more thing before we can say this is responsive. All right, let's get back to this PowerPoint. We have to use what? We have to still add a little bit of CSS, which is like SM over here. It means a small, SM stands for small device. All right, so if you add this little bit of the CSS here, column, SM6, then you can get the responsiveness, right? For small device, Let's do that. Let me go to the HTML. All right, so let me do this, SM, okay. Add a little bit more CSS here, so save it and see how it goes. View in browser. All right, again, it goes to the other monitor. So right now, and this is more like a desktop view, you have a pretty wide browser over here, a screen. So, okay, let me shrink it down and see it's gonna change the layout. Not yet, you are still seeing two columns side by side. Yeah, here you go, right? Once you reach a certain width, then you can see the layout changes to two columns like this, right? If I expand it, right? And now they are side by side. So the layout changes based on the width of the screen, okay? So why? Because we have the CSS to tell the browser, say, okay, when the screen is on a small device, so change the layout into this. Okay, so let me get back to the PowerPoint. So, and you see the code, yeah. All right, you know what? Oh, let me get back a little bit to explain a little bit more on the small device, the CSS SM. Actually, when I say small device, we have a specific width, which is 576 pixels. Yeah, what does it mean? So it means, let me bring up the web page again. All right, so let me bring this up. Let me display it again. Okay. All right. So what does it mean? What does it mean is when I shrink the browser to 576 pixels wide, it's not yet there. Not yet. Oh, it's right there, right? 576 pixels wide or narrow in this case, then it will change the layout. Yeah, that's what it means by SM, small device. And you have a specific pixel size here, 576. All right, so, but how about other widths? Yeah, so you can do other widths also, not just 576. And we call 576 is a breakpoint. So it breaks means when it reaches a certain width, it breaks the layout, or you can say it changes to another layout. All right, so this is just one of the breakpoints. There are a few other breakpoints. Yeah, of course, if you use a different CSS code, then you can get a different breakpoint. Let me show you the other breakpoints. All right, you see, SM is just one of those breakpoints. MD is also another breakpoint. All right, MD means medium device. It's like a desktop wider than a tablet, right? So you can get, so when the width reaches 768 pixels, then it will change the layout. Or if you want to support a wider screen, then you can use a LG here. It means a large device. Then it will go up to 992 pixels, and then it will change layout. Or if you have an extra large device, then it can go up to 1200 pixels. All right, so you have different breakpoints for you to use. If you don't use a big breakpoint like CL, like the first time we didn't add any breakpoint over here, then it will never change because there's no breakpoint. So it stays the same. It's always on top of each other. It will never change. All right. So, and let me see. Okay, I said it wrong. Yeah, if you don't have any breakpoint, it will stay side by side, not on top of each other. Okay, let me correct myself. Okay, so that means I have explained, the grid system and also breakpoints. All right, so these are all very powerful concepts you have to learn before you can use Bootstrap's grid system to develop web pages that are responsive. Okay. Okay, let me talk a little bit more about breakpoints. Yeah, let me use CodePen, and you will see the code on my left side and also the browser on my right side. Yeah, in the HTML, I put in all the breakpoints here. So, and you can see the first one I didn't put any. Yeah, no breakpoint. So for the second one, say this one. Yeah, I mean I'm using two sections. Yeah, so I'm using SM. All right, small. And then the next one, actually I changed it. This one is not really a two column layout, or two section layout. This one is three. I did some work, but I didn't remove. How about let me remove it so I can start from here and then. Okay, let me do this. Yeah, let me change it back. So everything is now two columns. All right, let me save it. Yeah. Okay, so now everything is two. Let me keep my terminology, like two columns, two sections over here. All right, so, and the next breakpoint, I use a LG, which stands for large, and then XL, which stands for extra large. All right, so, okay. What I'm gonna show you is I'm gonna stretch my browser from a mobile view to a desktop view, and you can see the breakpoints are working here, right? So the first one, I said no breakpoint, which is this one. That means they stay the same. These two sections are going to stay the same. They are not going to change their layout. They are going to be side by side all the time, all right? Because there's no breakpoint. Yeah. So even I stretch it, it's not going to change, okay? So, and then the next one, there's a breakpoint on 576 pixels. So if I stretch it to 576 pixels, and then these two guys will go side by side. Let me do it slowly. Yeah, you see? Okay, now you see. 576. Say, let me string it down. Say, okay, so yeah, let me string. You see? Now, what? They are side by side. And you see the first no breakpoint layout here. There's no, it didn't change anything. All right, so let's come down to this one. And I use the breakpoint MD, which stands for medium device, right? Medium device could be 7068. It could be a tablet, right? So, or a small laptop. So you see now they are on top of each other. If I expand it to 768, not yet there, not yet there, not yet there. See, now I reached 768, and it becomes what? They go side by side now. Okay, let me do the next one. The next one, the breakpoint I use is LG. So the breakpoint is 992. So of course I'm not yet there. I was just at 768 or around there. So let me expand it to 200 pixels more or more. Yeah. So now it's still not yet there. I don't have screen width. Let me move my whole window to the left side so I can go more. Yeah. Okay, now you can see. So 2 columns. All right, so which is good. And let's do the last one. And the CSS code I use is XL, which stands for extra large. So let me stretch it. Yeah. Now, yeah. So let me go more. Yeah. See. Okay, now you can see. So you can see the layout, right? It responds to the size of your browser. Let me get back to the web page here, to the HTML code. I've been using like 2 sections, and then the columns, the individual columns, and because we have two sections, that means each section has like 6 individual columns, right? So how about if you want to have like 3 sections instead of 2? You can do that. Let me show you. Like this one, let me use the medium device, which is, let me see, this one, okay, 576. Sorry, it should be 768. Okay, if I add one more div, that means I'm gonna add one more section here. Okay, let me do that. Since you add one more section, again, here you have 666, right? They don't add up to 12, so we have to, put it to reduce the number. So how about I can do, 4? Of course, you can do 444, right? Save, and then you can tell. All right, now you can see 3 sections. If I string it down, and then you can see now you have 3 sections, stacking up. All right, yeah. Well, the thing is, you don't have to have columns of the same width. You can, for example, the first column you want it to be what? Or the first section you want it to be narrower, right? So you can reduce it to like maybe just say, let me see what number is good, maybe 3. Okay, and the middle section you want it to be wider, and then the last section you want it to be smaller. So let me see how, you see, you can already tell. This one, I got only 3 columns. This one, 6 columns. And then here is 3, right? So if you string it down to 768, you will get what? The same width, of course, when they are stacking up on top of each other, you get the same width. But when you stretch it out to 768 pixels, you will get what you put in here, which is 363. All right. Of course, you can change the other numbers. How about I change it into 2, and then this is 4, right? And then you see, let me see, did I get it right? Yes, so now it's right. Okay. So, and that means it doesn't have to be of the same width. You can add however many sections you want, as long as they add up to 12, then you are good.